staying with us, the Ndifuna Ukwazi Law Centre has slammed the City of Cape Town's approach to homelessness. It says, well, the city has called on ratepayers, residents and business owners to express concerns relating to, quote, the impact of homeless persons on them. Attorney Danielle Lowe is with Ndifuna Ukwazi's Law Centre and joins us now from Cape Town. Danielle, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. So this development has in the past week been criticised for being anti-poor, anti-the homeless people in the City of Cape Town. Explain how that is.
Yes, good evening. Thanks for having me. So the City of Cape Town's questionnaire comes pursuant to a legal challenge that Ndifuna Ukwazi launched on behalf of 11 people experiencing homelessness in the City of Cape Town. So our challenge consists of two applications. The first challenge asked the High Court to declare invalid certain provisions of the Streets, Public Places and Noise Nuisances bylaw, as well as the Integrated Waste Management bylaw, as invalid to the extent that it infringes several of the fundamental human rights of homeless people. So these rights include the right to privacy, the right to dignity and equality. The second challenge is a challenge in the Equality Court, where we are asking the court to declare that the bylaws unfairly infringe against the rights of homeless people on the basis of socioeconomic status. So essentially what the city did this past week is launch these questionnaires. And as you said, they are calling on residents, ratepayers and business owners to express their concerns relating to the impact that homeless people might have had on them. So specifically, City of Cape Town councillors have been sharing this form in various groups, and these groups include ratepayers groups and neighbourhood watch groups. We denounce these actions by the city because we consider it as akin to inciting hatred against homeless people. And it only stands to exacerbate homeless people's vulnerability and their societal marginalization.
And of course,
we are also concerned that... Yeah.
Sorry to jump in, Danielle. The city has given people until, I think, the 2nd of June to make these submissions about how, quote unquote, they are impacted by homelessness. Do you know what's going to happen once these submissions have been received? What then does it do as far as the way forward in dealing with the problem in Cape Town? Because the reality is people on the streets, most if not all of them, are not there by choice.
Exactly. So the city in its press statement revealed that this information is needed for its opposition against the cases that we launched. So as you rightfully say, this is again an approach that doesn't actually do anything to address homeless people's condition. So what we have advocated for in our case is that the city, instead of adopting this approach which seeks to criminalize homeless people, they should instead focus on a need-centered approach, one which emphasizes homeless people's needs and is more sustainable than an approach that criminalizes.
And I was looking at a reply because a lot of people took this up with the City of Cape Town online yesterday, and on Twitter they replied to one person. They said, there's been a sharp increase in complaints relating to street people in numerous areas across the metropole since the introduction of the COVID-19 disaster management regulations. Do you think that's true?
So there is an increase in the number of homeless people, that is correct. And we know that it is the poor and the working class that has borne the brunt of the economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what we've also found that on a national level is that there has been no provision made for renters who are renting in affordable housing accommodations, and many of those renters have been evicted into homelessness. So it is correct that there is an increase in the numbers of people on the streets of the City of Cape Town, but we have not seen any statistics that afford the blame of an increase in crime on homeless people.
And ultimately, what are you as Ndifuna Ukwazi and some of the other NGOs involved in this space able to do to counter this position, if indeed what we're seeing is basically a petition to prove the impact that homeless people are having, negative impact that is, as far as people who are, quote unquote, disturbing the peace, if you will, in one instance in these communities?
Yes, so we are first and foremost continuing with our legal challenge, that is to invalidate these provisions of the bylaws that in effect criminalize homelessness. Then we must also remember that these bylaws have been with us, or at least the impact and the criminalization of homelessness has been with us since colonialism and apartheid. So this is a societal issue, and it's larger than Ndifuna ukwazi. So to us, the most appropriate way forward is to center the voices of our clients and other homeless people with the appropriate assistance from interested parties like NGOs. We also at Ndifuna ukwazi, we are continuing with our advocacy campaign, which is to advocate for this shift in approach. Because in our case, we show how criminalization does nothing to address the root causes of homelessness.
And just on that,
poverty.
And I wanted to ask you about that, Danielle, the effectiveness of what is available to help people who are without a home in the country. I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, a bunch of people were taken off the streets and put into shelters. There was even an outbreak of COVID-19, if I recall, at the one facility in Cape Town. But again, that was a temporary measure. How effective are structures such as the shelter system, for example, for the homeless?
Yeah, so we also address that in our case, specifically shelters. The number of homeless people far outweigh the number of shelter beds that are available. We also know that shelters are also inadequate for other reasons, meaning relating to the payment of money that many people have to pay for a bed in a shelter. We also have the safe space in the city of Cape Town, but our clients also express their concerns about the safe space, and some of our clients have said that they would much rather stay on the street than stay at the city of Cape Town's safe space.
All right, Danielle, thank you so much for speaking to us. Danielle is a lawyer with Ndifuna ukwazi's Law Centre.